Hello everybody and welcome back. This is Gamjabar and my opponent is Estron. This is a PvT. It is Season 3. I'm back. I took about a week off from playing to give my wrists a bit of a break. And here we are. So, yeah, this is going to be actually two PvT games, and these are from Ladder. So, my goal here today is going to show you, to show you the sort of new style of PvT that we're seeing. And in particular, I was really impressed with White Raw's PvT over the weekend of MLG in Anaheim. But this also comes from watching the PvT of several Korean streamers, including Hwang Sin from Gosu Clan, I think, and Next Puzzle. Is it Next Puzzle? Yeah. So just watching the modern style that the Koreans are playing is really enlightening, and I've really changed my style around, and I'm having a ton of success with this. So figured I'd show you a few of my games and point out what I'm doing. Firstly, we're going to note that my opening is going to be different than what I've been doing. So let's go ahead and dive back into the history of PvT openings for a second. The game sort of started out, the dominant safe style was mostly 2 gate-robo expands, and you went for a really fast observer because Terran has lots of all-ins they can do. There's all sorts of things that you want to watch out for, and the observer just helps you be a little safer, and it's pretty good against 2 or 3 racks expands. It didn't really set you behind. Just a quick note: I am gas dealing because it felt a little bit to me like he is going for a tech build. Just from what I saw, this gas looked really early. He's making 2 Marines. It just sort of was a feeling that I had. Anyway, moving on. You don't have to gas deal every time, but it should be sort of a conditional basis. Yeah, we used to see the 2 gate-robo expand almost every game. After a while, Terran started doing really fast expos off 1 racks, off no gas, stuff like that, and the 2 gate-robo expand just started falling really far behind economically to those openings, and people began to realize, hey, he's not going for cloaked banshees. I can actually get away with not building a robo that early, because a robo bay is expensive. A robotics facility, that is. And we do see our Terran opponent going for 1 racks expand. Meanwhile, as we can see, I am throwing down the robo after my gateway. So what's the deal with this? Well, recently, Terrans have started doing 1 base all-ins again. There was a period of time where they were just playing macro games with bio, and pretty much, and going for fast expos. Lately, we've been seeing a lot of tank, marine, raven all-ins off 1 base, which are really hard to stop, by the way. If you're Terran, I don't know why you don't do these like every game. They're really hard. But please don't, because I hate them. However, the point being, the fast robo does help you to deal with those fast pushes. You'll spot them really early. And I want to note that the robo, conventionally in the olden days, it used to be just you make an observer or 2 and then you stop using the robo for a while. Nowadays, we're actually seeing a lot of the Korean players. Most notably, recently, I've seen Sage open this way almost every game, and he is just a really smart player, so I think copying him is worthwhile. You can make immortals out of the robo bay, and you make 2 immortals, and you have a really strong army. You can pressure him quite a bit, and we're going to see that in this game. Now, my basic build order, it's very simple. It's going to be gate, robo, gate, my units are going to be Stalker first, then Sentry, and then when Warp Gate finishes, I warp in 2 more Sentries, and that's it. And I'm going to have this Observer that I ought to send over to my opponent's base. I'm being active with my probe, making sure that he hasn't expanded yet, he hasn't landed it. Just going to bounce in here and then head back to the tower. Observer's coming out, and I'm making my Immortal. I actually stick on 2 gateways in a robo for quite a while. That seems a little risky to some people. It seemed a little risky to me as well. A lot of people want to throw down this 3rd gateway here, but you can't make Immortals if you're doing that, and if you do make Immortals, then you can only support these 2 gates off the 1 base. And also, our plan is going to be to tech really fast after this expand goes down, and we're going to be relying on our Immortals to help us do that, as well as force fields, of course. So I'm working in a couple of Stalkers, I've got a couple of Immortals, and I'm just going to walk across the map, because I see with my Observer that he's not pressuring, he doesn't have medevacs yet, there's nothing really I need to worry about walking across this map. Now, I have to note that off a 1 Rax expand, his Expo is landing very, very, very late. I don't play Terran, so I don't know if this is really standard, but this seems so late to me, because I did a 2-gate robo expand, and my Nexus is finished before he has landed. So just something to note there. But I know a lot of Terrans are doing this just to be really safe. But like if I get here before he's moved down the ramp, I can actually just force field him until he has medevacs. So, right now I'm just waiting for my 2nd Immortal, warping stuff in. So my game plan, let's pause it briefly and note the game plan here. I'm going to get Robo Expand, as we've seen. I just go for 1 gas early. 2 gas might be okay as well. I'm just sort of still trying to figure out the exact details of the build. But my basic goal is to go for the Twilight Council and the Forge pretty fast. Council first, always prioritize the Council. And as soon as I can, I'm going to start Charge and +1 armor. That's what I'm rushing to right now. I'm rushing to Charge and +1 armor. Now we're going to see a little bit of pressure. Bunkers fall super fast to Immortals. It's not even close. I just force field a bit. I got some free units. I got Guardian Shield, so stuff's going to take a while to die. And I'm going to pull back without losing a thing. I could go in with these Zealots and pressure again. That'll help me to do more damage. But I elected to just fall back at this point. I don't want to get too risky at the moment. My opponent's almost at medevac tech. And I actually started these slightly later than I could have. But we want to start Charge first, always prioritize Charge, and then we're going to get the armor as soon as we have the gas for it. Meanwhile, we're warping in nothing but Zealots. And we're going to make a bunch more gates. We want at least 5 per base, probably closer to 7 or 8 when we have a 2-base economy. As we can see right now, I basically do have a 2-base economy. And with this robo, I can actually just keep making Immortals. I can make Warp Prisms, which White Raw was favoring quite a lot. You can do Zealot drops. Very, very good tactic for harassment. And we see that our opponent's first medevacs are just getting produced. And Charge and +1 armor are going to be finished by the time he has Stim and medevacs. And as long as we have good Guardian Shields, we can actually hold off pretty much any early attack now. And we have to force field quite a bit, but that's fine. Now I go for the Templar Archives. This pylon is just to spot drops. So, one thing to note is that I notice White Raw throws down this 3rd base, which I'm going to do right here, before he does the Templar Archives. Personally, I kind of like the Archives first, but we're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to play around with that a little more. So, the Templar Archives are purely for Archons. I don't even research Storm throughout the entire course of the game. Of course you can, and Storm isn't bad, but Storm can get a little bit finicky. all you have to do is just get EMP'd, and you have 10 supply of worthless High Templar, and you just don't have a way to deal with the Terran army. So Archons are actually really good when mixed with Chargelots. They do splash damage and the bonus against bio. As we can see, they do 35 versus biological with splash. And because of the charged zealots, Terran can't really focus down the Archons. He has to kite the zealots, or else he just dies so fast to the zealots, which have quite good attacks and are very, very resilient. So it's just really hard for Terran. He needs to get ghosts, but Ghost EMP only takes off, I think, 100 shield. And Archons have 350 shield. It takes at least 3 or 4 EMPs to take out the... it takes, I guess, 4 full EMPs to take out the shields of an Archon. At which point they, of course, only have 10 health. But, if you have a couple of Archons and they're not right next to each other, then it's going to take a lot of EMPs to neutralize them. And Terran has to be able to hit them. So he needs to be able to focus fire them without kiting the charged zealots. It's a really strong army. So now we see that my third base is up. I'm transferring workers. I can take a much faster third in this style than I can going fast Colossus. Terran, of course, is taking another base, which is pretty smart. He has medevacs out. He's not dropping, but he should be. And if he were dropping, as we'll see in the next game, this is sort of an introductory game. The next game is a little bit more active. If he were dropping, he'd have map control, which lets him expand here, which is why a lot of Terran players expand very quickly. So now we're just warping in lots of zealots and making a proxy pylon. And at the moment, I'm just sort of waiting patiently for the proxy pylon, the +2 armor, to finish. And we're going to take a look at my game plan now. I have a third base. Once I have the third secured, I've got my good army of Archons and Zealots. Yeah, the glow goes away sometimes when you pause. It's a little weird. What I'm going to do is add a second robo bay, or add a second robotics facility and the robotics bay at the same time. You can see how low my money is right now. That's totally fine. And my goal is to pressure him / defend with all these units, and then I'm going to very quickly churn out 2 Colossus with range. And this army already, as we will see, is really hard for him to deal with his regular army here. This is a bit odd that he sent all his medevacs up here, and I'm going to try and do some damage. This army right here is really hard for him to deal with on its own. So when we start pumping out 2 Colossus at a time, Terran's in a lot of trouble. Now look at the EMPs. These EMPs took out this energy on these sentries, some of them. Barely even tickled the Archons. Now we've got the Charged Zealots. I still have 2 Immortals that are doing quite a bit of damage. And we're going to look at these Zealots. Just look at the health on these Zealots. These things do not die. These things stay alive forever. Look how slowly these are going down. I don't even have them in Guardian Shield. I should. I'm not microing very well. I've got lots of Guardian Shield. Well, not anymore. He just EMP'd me. But the Ghosts are pretty bad. The Archons and Charged Zealots are really good. I'm just reinforcing with Charged Zealots. And it's just going to take him forever to kill those Zealots. Like this Zealot right here. Very long time to die. It takes like 100 shots from a rain to kill this thing. I'm at 2-1, or I'm at 2-0. I'm getting my +1. I like to go 2 armor before I get any attack. I'm getting range, so that when the time comes, I can pump out the 2 Colossus and they'll have range. But this push has won the game already. So, I mean, this is just an introductory game, and you can look at Terran, and he has quite a bit of money, so there's a lot to criticize about this game, and maybe you don't want to take it into consideration right now, but we're going to look at another game which is much better. Welcome back to the second game between myself, Gom Jabbar, and Chobo, the Terran. This is on Backwater Gulch. So in this game we're going to see pretty much the same style coming out of me, and we're going to see a bit of a different style from our Terran opponent, and he's actually going to be a bit more active with his drops and play a little bit better. So we'll see how this works in a bit of a longer game. And as this is longer, I'm going to just fast forward to the opening a little bit. We're just talking about MLG, which was pretty good, not the best MLG. A lot of TVTs, and it was sad that Boxer didn't win the whole thing, but he did pretty well. So yeah, really the games I'm really looking forward to looking at are Liquid Tyler versus Chargelot+Archon, and most of Whiteraw's PvTs, because this guy is just really good. Now we're going to slow it down because Terran is actually taking a second gas. That's a bit of a weird deviation, and no add-on on this barracks yet. Now I saw the 2 barracks, and I was pretty sure it would be 2 racks, which is a fairly common Terran build nowadays, so that's what I am suspecting. Now the reason I say Liquid Tyler versus Chargelot+Archon is because he goes for, I believe, the Robo and Twilight, which I have been doing quite a lot of, and you'll see my video of that. Well, that was last week when I did that, so go back and look at that Guide to Safe PvP. Really great video. I'm very happy about it. I think it came out very well. But on to the current game. As we saw, Stalker, Sentry, and I'm making my second Sentry. That's really all I want to do, and then I wait for Warp Gate to finish. Terran is making 1 base Ghost Academy. Bit of an odd choice. I mean, this is sort of all in a little bit. Everything costs so many minerals. Marauder's 100, Marines 50, the Ghost is 200. It's just, it's pretty hard for him to expand with these buildings, but, we'll see how it goes. So I'm getting my Observer out, going to expand. So Observer goes, and notice Terran does not have his Expo even started yet, so I'm already pretty far ahead. Yeah, so Terran's going for this Ghost Cloak Rush. Very odd choice. And I'm going to spot this coming up. It's not a big deal. It may look like I have very few units, but I'm just going to start this Immortal. Oh, a little supply blocked. That is kind of bad. But yeah, there's the Immortal. I'm going to Chrono Boost it. So Terran's going to run in here. He's going to try and pressure this Nexus a little bit. I get up here and I see this fast Ghost, and I see no Expo. And I see the Ghost Academy working on something. So, very interesting. Now, I've got to run in here and save the Nexus, of course. Try and do as much as I can. He does have quite a lot of units, but as soon as this Immortal's out, I'm quite safe. Yeah, I can definitely just focus fire the Marauder with my Immortal, and then he can't do anything. So the Nexus is saved, no big deal. And notice, I'm actually going to get a second Observer here very quickly. Because I notice that he's going for this Ghost Cloak Rush, it's pretty strong. It's sort of it's a strong attack, but it really sets him behind economically, as you can see. Yeah, there's my second Observer now getting produced. I'm a little worried about his Cloaked Ghost. And I'm just going to pause it really quick because I want to mention this. As we were talking about the evolution of the PvT opening stages, Terrans were doing these really fast expos, so Protosses were skipping that Robo Bay in order to do 1 gate or 3 gate expands. And this Cloaked Ghost Rush is actually a direct response to that. You do this opening that's entirely barracks, there's no real tech that goes on. It looks like a barracks opening, but you've got a Ghost Academy. So the Protoss that's scouting everything is going to think, oh yeah, this is a bio opening, I don't need a Robo. and then Terran gets ghost cloaking, and you're in a world of hurt. So really, this is sort of the reason I think why gate-robo-gate is gaining popularity again. You really do need detection that early, and it is very, very good. So that's what we're seeing. Weirdly enough, though, Chobo is not going to rush with the ghosts. He's just sitting back with them. I don't really like that choice, but whatever. So I have got the two the two gateways in the robo. My next buildings are going to be Twilight Council and Forge. Just like last game, we're still just sitting on the two gates. Here's my observer. I want to be safe against cloaked ghosts, and I'm going to get this gas. Once again, I'm just going for the one gas at the natural early on. Don't know if that's correct or not, but I'm going to try it for a while and see if it works. If it doesn't, then I will change it. And I'm going to have to go back and look at White Raw's games as well. Yep, so we're going to start charge very soon. I don't have a ton of gas. I should have started this a bit earlier, in fact. So it was done by the time the Nexus was. However, that's not the case. So charge is going to start. I don't have the gas for armor yet, so I'm going to spend my minerals on other things. I'm going to make gateways. Again, I have a pretty small army, but I'm not very concerned about that. The ghosts are aiming up into the sky. This probe is going to be scouting. I want to see what he's doing. More zealots warping in. Pretty much, you just want to warp in nothing but zealots once you're starting charge, because of course you want lots of them. So I'm making more observers. I want to keep this robo facility useful. You can't really have enough observers against Terran. You want to be able to spot those drops and spot everything. So I'm going to run in here and check things out. I see the factory. So I know that his tech is quite late. And yeah, he just doesn't have much of an economy right now compared to me. I'm pretty far ahead. Not actually going for those upgrades for himself either. So charge in the Forge +1 armor is almost complete. I'm going to get my 5th gateway. Warp in lots of zealots. One more sentry because he killed a few of them early. And at this point, I'm planning to go over here and expand because charge just finished, but he has other plans. So what I have to do is, note right here, I notice he is moving in to attack. He has a bunch of ghosts that have cloak and EMP. EMP isn't going to affect me very much right here, actually. It's not a big deal. What I'm more concerned about is the cloaking, but, you know, I've got the observer. And with these zealots, I actually don't want to engage in a very tight choke. I want to engage in an open field so I can get a surround on him. Especially because of the ghosts, my force fields are going to be very, very not effective. Yeah, so he's going to cloak and run in here. Not doing a ton. He gets the shields on both immortals. Pretty good. He gets a good EMP off, but he just doesn't have anything to deal with these charge zealots. So everything's dead. Gonna run in here. With +1 armor, look how long it takes these zealots to die from marines. Very, very long time. Easy defense. And at this point, I am going to expand. Just standard RTS logic. You kill off an attack, you want to expand. And I was planning to expand while he was attacking anyway. I mean, he interrupted my expansion timing. I could have held this with the expansion. White Raw expands this fast all the time. In fact, he expands faster. And he was defending quite well. So I'm going for my +2 armor, getting my Templar archives, adding some more gateways. With this style, you're making zealots and high Templar, and it's a really lean unit mix, which means that you need a lot of gateways to support it, and you're making a ton of units. So I get here and I see a lot of marines, some medevacs. This is actually a great response. You want more marines because they deal better with the zealots in very large numbers. And they're probably better than marauders for dropping, especially when you get a very good position with them. So that's what we're doing. Terran's really trying to get lots of upgrades for his ghost, which is a good decision. But notice, I'm not actually going to get Storm in this game. If I were just going for Storm and I wasn't making Archons, the Ghosts would be so effective. EMP is quite a good spell, and if I can just whine a little bit, I think Ghosts are better than High Templar. They still have the Mobius Reactor upgrade, and we don't have the Kadaran Amulet upgrade. They have EMP that they can spawn with and knocks out shields and energy from a pretty good size of your army. And they can cloak. High Templars can't cloak, man. That's ridiculous. Anyway, so the point is, by not getting Storm and not making High Templar, I'm actually going to be better against Ghosts. So he's going to run in, try and do a bit of damage. It's not going to be too much. He's actually going to get a lot of these probes, unfortunately. Not quite sure how many, but it's probably too many. Oof, yeah, that's bad. He also dropped back here. That's why I was a little preoccupied. So I lose all these probes. And he's up 10 workers. So that was a big mistake by me. I should have just pulled those. He really wants this Nexus, but he's not going to get it. So Terran's dropping pretty well. He dropped back here and here at the same time. Always a smart thing for Terran to do. He's taking his third base. And we're about equalized because of that drop. So, that's fine. Another one of the sort of downsides of this build is I am a bit weak to drops. I don't have a lot of stalkers. I can't really get blink very early. Like, if I want to kill this factory, I have to take all my Archons up and attack it. And it would take a little while. So I'm a bit worried about that. And now I do leave a few units back here to defend. I want to split my forces. And I'm just going to move them back to the Nexus. So now we look back at my base. I've got my third base is up, so my next game plan is going to be to make the Robo-Bay and Extended Thermal Lance pretty fast. I'm getting my +1 attack. And as soon as I have the money for it, and I have my third base economy, I'm going to be going for Colossus. I think once I do have the Colossus out, I can start getting Stalkers with Blink, but I'm actually not sure if I need to. And I'm going to claim this Watchtower. Looks to me like Terran's, wow, taking a fourth pretty fast. Bit of a risky play. But, he figures he has map control with the dropships. The medevac dropships. He has quite a lot of medevacs, in fact. So, one of the benefits of doing this style is you can have High Templar for feedback, but you don't need them for Storm. So, what that means is I can actually deal with his medevacs decently. And now, again, I noticed him coming with my Observer and my Watchtower. I'm going to try and engage him in a pretty open field, not in a tight choke. I want to get the Zealots in front, so I'm going to do that pretty soon. And my 2 Colossi are out. Got him to stim his whole army, and I'm running away. Pretty good. And now we're going to look at this engagement as my computer chokes to death. EMPs go off. He gets the shields completely gone for 1 Archon. That's it. Very, very nice. Oh, he has 1 Cloak Ghost in this army. Pretty good. I mean, that's smart, but, yeah. Cloak runs out and they just die. Like, Ghosts, the regular attack from the Ghosts are not that good. So, he loses pretty much his whole army here. Just running away with his medevacs. And meanwhile, he's doing a big drop here. Big counter drop. It's good, but Zealots are just going to rip this apart. And he's not going to get the Nexus. If he had some Marauders, he might have gotten it, but he just didn't. Running into some Ghosts, just to try some shenanigans, but, I mean, the game is over. I've got Colossus being produced. I've got 2 Colossus on the field. 2 more are about to pop out. I now have 4 Colossus. He has no Viking production at all. These things have Thermal Lance already. I've got my Observer up here. He's going to try and target one down. Not really a big deal. And notice, because he was going so heavy with the Marines and the Ghosts to try and counteract my army, the Colossus are going to be extremely powerful against that. So I'm going for my +2 weapons. I'm taking my 4th base. GG, the game is over. Look how easy and strong that looked. I just want to let you sit and just take that in, because that was just gorgeous. Not that game specifically, I'm not touting myself, and just the strategy in general. I just really love it. You go for those Chargelots and the Archons. His bio army will have a lot of trouble dealing with that until he gets like a maxed army. Because once he has a super maxed army, he can he'll have a lot more surface area, or a lot less surface area, more volume, I don't know, whatever it is. And the Zealots won't be able to do as much damage because they're pure melee. So, as soon as you hit like maxed army, which is around when you take your 3rd base. When my 3rd base is taken and it's getting up, that's when I switch to Colossus, because they're a lot better against the big army counts. And his Viking count will be non-existent at that time. He'll have a lot of Marines and Ghosts. The Colossi will be extremely strong. And yeah, I mean, you don't even need to make Stalkers to counteract the Vikings, because Archons will do that just fine. So that's going to be game. And yeah, this is just a really awesome way to play PvT. I really like it. I'm going to do it more. And that's going to wrap it up. So thanks for watching, and definitely stay tuned for my next videos. Bye.